I started jogging, right? So I knew I started jogging and I started doing a lot of reading, right? So once I have my quota for the day and said, you know what, I'm going to apply for like 5 roles or 10 roles or whatever it is. Once I'm done with that, I'll probably go take a run, right? Or I'll probably call somebody, or I'll probably watch a movie, or just do some stuff outside that. Build my own inner man, right? My own self, my own character. Focus on me really, because at the end of the day, if you get the job and you're already burnt out, you're going to lose that role immediately, right? So,
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pulse of Tech podcasts, where we have insightful conversations about building digital products, brands, and teams, as well as explore the challenges of being in the tech industry. This is Lady Adeniyi. I'm your host, and I'm super excited to have you guys here listening to me speak. In today's episode, we'll dive into a topic that many of us have encountered at some point in our careers, and that's job rejections. Job rejections can be disheartening, right? You apply for 10 companies, and back to back, you're receiving rejections up and down. It makes you question your self worth, makes you question your skills. One thing we don't really talk about in the industry is how rejections can also be a catalyst for personal growth. And to shed more light on this topic, I am thrilled to have Okhaide Ajayi as our guest on this podcast today. So I call him AJ personally because he's one of my guys. He's an amazing designer and a better human being in general. So, AJ, how you doing?
what's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for having me here. I'm feeling good. How about you?
I'm good, man. Just kicking this podcast off. I've had this thing in the works for months now. But
I
yeah,
know, I
it's
know.
it's good to finally get it started and talk about these issues.
Mhm.
So, AJ, tell us a bit about what you do as a tech
Hmm.
person.
Yeah, I like that you said tech, because there's life outside tech, right? So basically, just like you said, I am a product designer for a software company that basically focuses on logistics for businesses in the US. I also have a little agency that I run by the side to work with local brands as well as some international brands too. Um, Aside that, I'm also a husband, and just like you said, a better human being too, or striving to become a better human being every day. Yeah, so that's a bit about me.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, let's get right into the questions about job rejections and how we can thrive through them. Because I've also experienced
Mhm.
them personally myself. It's not fun.
No, it's not.
Um, So, can you share a bit about your personal experience with rejections and how you overcame them?
Dude, man. If I start talking about the rejections, we probably will not live here today. Because the funny thing is that I still get rejections till date, and
Oh yeah.
probably rejections from roles that I might have applied for in January, right? When I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, let's test the waters, right? And you can imagine they still send me rejection messages just a couple of weeks ago for something that was done a while back. So I think it's something that I can definitely talk about, and shed a lot of light on. And I think, to be very honest, it's something that everybody within this space has encountered. Um, I think no matter how good you are, if you put yourself out there, you are bound to get rejection. So it's a common thing. In fact, even before we started applying for jobs as guys, we ate a lot of rejections. Remember when you're chasing women and all that? You needed
Yeah.
usually rejected. I think it's one of the
Yeah.
oldest things that any guy can talk about.
You.
You just have to have been, at a point you just get it right. So it's nothing new, but like you said, it's no fun. It can be really nerve wracking, especially when you are not probably coming from a place of power. And when I say a place of power, right, it could be a good example is that probably you already have a job, right? And you're just
Yeah.
like, "Do you know what, let me just try to like get a new job or put
Mm,
myself out there or get an extra gig. It doesn't hurt that much because you're already coming from a place of power. It's like, okay, even if I get it or I don't get it, it's fine. But if you're a greenhorn and you're actually just looking for that one opportunity, it really bites, crazy because you just keep getting it, and at a point you feel like you're not good enough or anything, and it could be really, really nerve wracking. Yeah.
yeah, that place of power thing, really. I mean, if you don't have the funds to put money on to put food on the table, I wanted to say to put
Yeah.
money on the table. Well, to put money on the table also.
I'm telling you, that with
Yeah,
you the money to
yeah,
buy the food.
e- exactly. So it's you really want that job with all your heart, and you're applying, you're
Yeah.
crafting the perfect CV, the perfect cover letter,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's still this is a, oh, we're sorry, we are going with someone else. Some people don't even reach out to you at all.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the crazy thing, right? Because not too long ago, I had one of my mentees. He reached out and he was like, he wanted me to do a portfolio review for him, and I was like, why? And he was like, oh, he's been applying for jobs and he hasn't gotten anything. Like nobody is telling him anything. Like he's not getting a
Hmm.
rejection. Nobody just tells him anything. And I was like, man, I can't believe how you basically must feel, right? And this was happening for almost 7 months. He had not gotten any feedback, right?
Yeah.
And that was a greenhorn, trying to like just get his first role. Had a lovely portfolio, by the way. So yeah,
Even with a lovely portfolio, no
even
one
with
was
a
saying
lovely
anything.
portfolio, right? So I think that's some of the things we need to like talk about, right? So if I could just go straight for it, I think the first thing I told him was that, dude, there's every possibility that it's not just even a you thing, right? Because sometimes we tend to just be like, okay, I'm not good enough. Um, you know, definitely there are people that are always going to be way ahead of you, right? But
Oh yeah.
um, and if you are contending with those guys, right, there's every probability that you might not get it right. That's a scenario, but sometimes it's really not just your fault or anybody's fault, right? Look at the hiring um, pool these days, right? And just you go on LinkedIn, right? And you see someone puts out a role, and within 5 minutes, you already have like 1,000 people have applied for this thing, right? And
Yeah.
you're going against probably 1,000 people, right? And it's sometimes it's just going to be hard, right? But not saying
Yeah.
that that should like deter you from trying to apply, right? But you should I think you should also cut yourself some slack to understand that sometimes these things are totally beyond your own control, and I think that's where empathy really comes in, right? You have to
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to just cut yourself some slack and just be like, okay, right, even if I got this rejection or I didn't get anything back, it's all good. I get back into the game, and I try to get that job. So I think I would really say no matter what happens, no matter how crazy it is, first of all, the first strategy you need to deploy is you have to have empathy on yourself. Don't beat yourself too much. I think that's the first thing I'm going to say, concerning that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because really I've been on both sides. I've been the
Mhm.
one hiring, and I've also been the one
Yeah.
trying to get hired. I've
Mm.
worked in companies where we get a lot of applications, and really that's and there aren't tools in place in the company to send automatic rejections to all the
Mhm.
people that applied. And automatic rejections, I don't know if it makes people feel better. It might be disingenuous because it's just like it's
It's
automatic, right? So
generic. It's generic.
yeah,
It goes out to everybody.
yeah,
It's not
it's
really truthful.
yeah, it's generic. We don't want you by, and sometimes you go through interviews, maybe the company interviews like 10 people, and
Yeah.
they are they are really swamped. They want to hire for the role very quickly, and maybe they
Mhm.
find someone they like. They only reply to they only respond to the one that they actually like, and the rest of them they don't reach out to them again. So they are wondering,
Yes.
oh, what happened to my job? Was I rejected? Was I not rejected? What's going on? So those are some of the issues we have in the industry. There are some teams that their HR is just one person,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of hiring going on. You know.
Mhm. Yeah. So even with big corporations, right? It's same thing. So I'll give you a personal experience of something that happened to me last year. So there was this design as a service company in the US or global, right? Or basically domiciled in the US, and I basically was going undergoing an interview for a visual design role. This was, I think, last year, early last year, right?
Hmm.
And I went through all the processes, and I got to the last stage, right? And I actually did get a mail telling me, look, you have scaled through, you are going to like the last stage where you have to like talk to, I think, the head of design or something, right? And I was like, oh, wow,
Hmm.
wow, wow. Okay, this is going to happen in 2 weeks. It never happened. It never happened. Like, it never happened. I had to send a mail. I had to start sending emails, right? What's going on? Before they told me, oh, they have moved from that. They've put a pause on recruitment for that certain period. And I think somewhere down the
Yeah, that
year,
tends to happen too.
they reach out to me to like come grab the role. And that never happened, right? So you can imagine how messed up that sounds, right? So even with the bigger companies, the same thing. I just wanted to like, throw a bit of my experience when you were talking about, that to say, okay, look, I totally have, suffered this too. Just to
Yeah,
give credence to what you're saying.
that makes a lot of sense, man. Because it's just sometimes they don't want to hire for the role anymore.
Hmm.
Maybe they are watching their finances or something
Yeah.
shifted in the market and they're trying to prioritize something else. But
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of the times, it's just out of your control. So that thing you said about having empathy for yourself is really important because
Yeah,
it's
super important.
sometimes it's not you, it's the most of the time it's not you, it's the company. they
Yeah,
might
I-
they might not look at your CV, they might not look at your
high
application, they might have
high
missed it.
probability they won't.
Yeah. So let's move to another question. So how did you manage like emotional impact of these rejections that you've received, and how did you manage to stay positive?
Hmm. Well, I think first of all, I think I have, talked about the empathy side, and I think that's basic. That's the base for everything that sort of helped me through. First of all, you have to clock it and understand that this might be beyond your control, right? There's
Hmm.
only so much you can control. You can upskill yourself. You can, decide to like to create the best portfolio. You actually might even be the best designer out there, but you also have to understand that there are certain factors in play. Sometimes rules are being put out just for fairness sake to say, okay, we are actually open about our recruitment processes, right? But they already have someone for that role, right? They just put it out there.
Hmm.
So you were never supposed to get that job in the first place. And a lot of that happens, right? They hire
Yeah,
internally, they just put it out there. Okay, we need some, no, but there's already
facts.
someone else for the role and they just put it there. So how are you now going to beat yourself up for that and say, oh, I was just, no, so no. So you have
Do
to
you
cut yourself some
get?
slack
Yeah.
and say, look, this was beyond my control, right? I can only control what I can control, right? And I will account for what I can control. Like one, showing up, ensuring that okay, despite whatever has been happening, despite the rejection emails, you have to continually put yourself out there to try to get that job, right? Another thing that I personally did was that I invested in myself and in my relationships, right? In
Mm.
myself, in the sense that empathy, one of it. Two, I started channeling my energy elsewhere, right? So I would actually advise anybody applying for a job or trying to get a job is a full time job, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing about full time jobs is that you start at 9 o'clock and you close by 5 o'clock. And once it's 5 o'clock, in the real sense of things, right? You are not supposed to start thinking about work again. You have to look for other things to do. You have to have a life
Mm-hmm.
outside work, right?
Yeah.
So don't get so choked up in it that even after the period of treating it like a work, you treating it like 9 to 5, you're still like thinking about it all the time. No, you have to do other things, right? Like go out with your friends, take a jog, run, do all that stuff, right? Just try to like live your life outside the fact that you are trying to get a job. I know it's hard, right? Especially if you're at Greenhorn and you need that opportunity because you need that job, you need that money to be able to say go out with friends or whatever, right? But it doesn't have to be going out with friends. What I did personally was that I started jogging, right? So I knew I started jogging and I started doing a lot of reading, right? So once I
Mm.
have my quota for the day and said, you know what, I'm going to apply for like 5 roles or 10 roles or whatever it is. Once I'm done with that, I'll probably go take a run, right? Or I'll probably call somebody, or I'll probably watch a movie, or just do some stuff outside that. Build my own inner man, right? My own self, my own character. Focus on me really, because at the end of the day, if you get the job and you're already burnt out, you're
Mm.
going to lose that role immediately, right? So I focused on building myself and investing in relationships. Building myself in the sense that I knew that I had to be more healthy, so I started jogging. I wake up in the
Mm.
morning and I do 5K, right?
Mm.
And while doing that, I'm also thinking of new strategies on probably how I might need to like get a new job, or how I need to like write that cover letter, or I just became more structured, right, with my life, and that was due to like exercise. So it was a way for me to also channel my frustration or whatever it was. Secondly, was I got in a relationship, right? So that also
Nice.
helped me, right? So that also helped me too. It definitely got some stress off me because I had someone I could also talk to, and they also would feed me the energy that I need, and yeah, that helped me a lot. So I did those two. Then also I tried to change the strategy that I was using, right? So I think first of all, talking about strategies, I don't know if we've gotten there yet, or
Mm-hmm.
if I can just shed a little light about it. That
Yeah,
most
please do.
times a lot of us, right? I have noticed because even from my mentees, I've talked to them, and it's really popular, right? It's more like, oh, you need a job, right? And most times a lot of people do not really scope through the jobs that they want, right? It's more like I pop into LinkedIn, I see a job, and it's UX designer. Oh, I need a UX design job, or it's
Mm.
graphics design. Oh, I need a graphics design job, and you start applying for every job that you see. That is a very, very sure way to get crazy rejections. Because if you actually take time to read some of these rules, from the get go, you'd actually know that, okay, no, this is not for me. And
Yeah.
you save yourself one extra rejection message, right? Somebody that I learned that stuff from happens to be my wife. She's really good at that. So if my wife says tomorrow, like, do you know what, I'm tired of my role, I need to get a new job, trust me, she's going to get it in record time. Because she has a way of actually going through these jobs, right? Finding out what they really need, and her next strategy would be, okay, how do I position myself for this? So she's doing that
Mm.
extra work of actually filtering, all the jobs there. And a lot of us don't do that. It's just like, oh, I'm applying, and I'm applying by number. And you're going to gather a lot of rejections and all.
Mm.
So I think that was something else that I started doing, right? I started really looking at reading roles, right? Reading job descriptions to say, okay, look, I might not be the right person for this advertisement, for this job opening, right? And I just pass it, right? And
Mm.
with time, I started understanding, the kind of roles that I would actually get feedback from, and the ones that I will not get feedback from. So I was able to like sort of narrow down the job set, right, by reading the job descriptions, understanding what it is that they needed, rather than just pushing
Applying
through
for
and just
everything.
applying for like 500 roles, and you get 500 rejections and you feel bad. So I think
Mm,
I
that
think
makes sense.
those are some of the things that I did, to sort of help me through that part.
That makes a lot of sense. Before we go on, let me just say Jogging 5K every morning is really impressive. But
But you have to look for where to put that energy, right? I
yeah.
did that. I had issues with my leg at a point, right, where I had to like change shoes. I had to go do an X-ray because the leg was broken. So I think that leg took a lot of heat.
Yeah, we've all been there. Jogging and having leg
Yeah.
injuries.
Mhm.
We've all been there. But yeah, I think what I'm taking away from this is also narrow down your job search so you
Yep.
don't like reject yourself before they reject you.
Yeah, they reject you.
And I think it's also important to put that empathy into applying for jobs. So really think
Mhm.
about, okay, what do these people actually need? Like from what they are
Yeah.
saying they need, you can tell, okay, I can actually bring some value into this role. And then the question is
Yeah.
now, how do I bring value into this role? If
Exactly.
you can't answer that question, then the job is probably not for you, right? If you can't bring
Yeah.
value into that role, the job is probably not for you. So just filter yourself out or become the kind of person that can give value to that role. Because if you lie and
Exactly.
you get your way in, eventually
It's
they'll
going to
find
it's going
you
to
and
show eventually. Right.
yeah, it's
And
going to show.
just to throw more light into that, right? So I think this was something that I think a lot of us actually learn later in life, right? Probably from experience that, mm, especially for a greenhorn, if you really knew you're trying to get your first role, it always feels like it's a favor, or they are doing you a favor by recruiting you, right? It's actually
Yeah.
it's actually meant to be balanced. You shouldn't feel like, okay, they're doing me a favor by taking by recruiting me or taking me on, right? They basically have seen something in you that you can bring into the company, and that's why they're having that conversation with you, right? So I think once you clock that,
I didn't realize that until I got into a leadership role.
exactly.
So this company actually needs me
Hmm.
the same way I need the
I need
company.
that. So
It's
it's
not a favor.
symbiotic.
Why would they pay you if it's a favor? Like
Exactly. So once,
it's
once
so
you clock,
simple.
yeah, once you clock that, right, it sort of changes the way you actually you approach the job, the job, applying
Market.
for the job, right? Because you start looking at, okay, what do they really need, and you are now able to tailor your own skills to their needs, right? And you present it to them, right? And that's just sort of a game changer, rather than having the mindset that, oh, I just need these guys to just like, take me so I can prove myself. I mean, it's good, right? But something happens when you are able to make that switch, when you
Hmm.
understand that, okay, do you know what? You guys need me, I need you, and we're going to go about it this way. But
Yeah.
once you are able to realize that, it sort of just changes the way you approach everything regarding, as regards to getting in a role, or switching roles, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's like I am Lady Adeni. These are the values I bring, and
Hmm.
these are the values that your company brings to me. And then
Hmm.
how do we agree? That's why there's like a job offer. That's why it's an offer, right? And there's a
Exactly.
contract between you and the employer because you are bringing the value, and then
Hmm.
the company the company is also giving you value like benefits, salary, things
Hmm.
like that. So
Hmm.
I think yeah, you're definitely right. It becomes a game changer when you see the value in yourself and you're not looking at it as,
Exactly.
I need to find a job, and a it's like a favor that they are doing. Like when I got my second job, well, not my first job, when I got my second job, because my my second job was kind of bigger. My first job was like a small startup. Second job was significantly bigger. That was VGG. When I
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I
yeah.
when I got my VGG job, I was like, I was over the moon. I was excited. Working
Mhm.
for like a big tech company, and people were looking at me like, "What's wrong with this boy?"
Oh, I think I actually also learned a lot from VGG too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I learned a lot from that company, but like I was so excited. I was so grateful. Like
Mm.
coming out from the job I had before and going
Yeah.
into a new company. At that point, I was still building my worth, still trying to
Mhm.
understand the value that I bring because I didn't know I was even bringing any value. I
Yeah.
had like all these skills, like I could count
Yeah.
all the plenty skills I had, but I still didn't think I brought value. So
Yeah. I totally get.
yeah, imagine if I understood that these people are hiring me because of the value I bring. It should
Uh-huh.
have given me a lot more confidence in like, negotiating salaries,
Yeah.
having more conversations with
Uh-huh.
the team members, the leadership, you know,
Yeah.
to be able to scale myself up even faster than it
Uh-huh.
eventually happened. Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
this definitely makes sense, and a lot of us don't realize it until it's late, and then we're like, oh, I wish I had known. So yeah,
Yeah.
thanks
So
for bringing that up.
I think that's actually like that's actually where mentorship does come in, right? Because when you
Hmm.
have mentors can basically tell you, okay, I've walked this path before, and this is basically
Yeah.
how you should see things, right? It's really funny. I think that part is really funny because it looks like it just creeps up on you one day. It just hits you like, boom, damn, I can do this, I can do that. I have
Hmm.
been killing
You've been
myself all my
goofing. Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
You've been goofing.
Yeah.
And once you clock that, it's like, you're not scared anymore. You're like, you know what, even if no matter what happens, I'm going to secure something. But
Yeah.
again, right, it definitely does come with experience, and experience is the best teacher. Because even with mentorship, right, even when you tell your mentees like, okay, yeah, this is how to like walk the walk. I mean, it's still going to be like a bit, um, you know, new to them or weird. They still probably might feel out of place, right? But I mean, that's also mentorship helps either ways, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Mentorship helps. I think the what's the word I'm looking for? The other side of this conversation, or the edge case in this conversation, is if you
Mhm.
are like a fresh intern that don't have any experience, then yes, they are doing you a favor by
Mhm.
by
Yeah,
by
yeah.
allowing you to come in, by training you. I think at that, looking at it from that point of view, you don't have any skills, you don't have any
Mhm.
experience. You're like totally
Mhm.
fresh, you've not done any work, and the
Mhm.
company still lets you come into their company and they pay you to learn
Mhm.
on the job. i
Yeah.
think i
Mhm.
think you know you can look at that as, oh, the company really did me a favor by hiring
Mhm.
me, and then from there you start building up your value system as you are
Mhm.
learning, as you are picking up skills, because at that point you're not really giving value to the company for at least 2 months,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And then you start to learn, you start to build up your values, build up your skills, then you start giving back to the company. Some do companies still do that, by the way? I haven't seen that in a while.
I was even going to ask about that, right? So I think these days, do we still have? I don't even know if we have people who really do not have. I don't want to say. I don't want to use the word skill, but who have not done stuff. It's almost like,
I think you can use the word skills. So
yeah, okay, let's say
if you
skills, right?
are so for example, if you're a designer, right?
Uh-huh.
You feel like you have design skills, but you haven't designed anything. You don't have any
Hmm.
skills. You
Hold
get?
on, hold on. It is very, very common these days for you to actually find newbies, people who are just straight out of school, and these guys have already done like a crazy amount of stuff. Like
Yeah.
they've gone to dribble, they've done it all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. People
And
are waking up now.
yeah, so I mean that's why I'm even thinking about it, right? Because you find scenarios whereby people immediately they get into the companies, right? They already start providing value, right?
Yeah.
Immediately. because I mean, you've done some stuff already, and you are recruited as a junior designer, and you hit the ground running, and you are dropping stuff, and you are learning as you go, right? So, I mean, I think even these days, these guys immediately get in, or immediately they sort of
They're already
provide value.
providing. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and so I think that's a lot. That's common these days, right? So as for if companies still do that, like mentor people from the ground up, I don't know. I haven't heard of any recently, but looking at the climb right now, I think it's something that a lot of companies need to start considering. I don't know,
So
although
I think this brings me to like my next point, and then maybe you can even talk some more about it. If as a company, right, if I can find a 300 level student that
Mhm.
already has design experience or front end
Yeah,
experience or back end experience, and the person can come into my team and grow within that team, providing value immediately, do you think there's
yeah.
an incentive for me as a company to still hire a like a fresh person without any skills and then build him up from the ground up?
That's really it's tricky, right? It's dicey. I mean, especially since we're in a capitalist world, right?
Hmm.
I think you're in business to actually you're in business to like make
Exactly.
money, right? So if you are going to get someone who is fresh off the rack and they can actually do the work, it's always going to pay you best.
Yeah.
If you are looking at it from a
Hmm.
what's in it for my
What's in it
company
for the
point of
company?
view. But I mean, if you're looking at it from an ethical point of view, I still think that you should be able to like give, fresh people who are just, fresh from the universities or wherever, not even the universities, because I mean, these days you don't even need to like go to the
Yeah.
university to,
Yeah.
let's say, someone who basically doesn't have any experience doing any of this stuff, right? They are interested in doing it. I think from an ethical point of view, it would be nice if companies do take interest in that. But also, let's be very frank, right? We are now in a very fast-paced world. Like
Hmm.
it's either you learn or you are left behind, right?
Facts.
So they are free resources. So it's almost like you do not have any excuse not to
Facts.
sort of like level up or have some form of information about the space that you're interested in. Because a while ago you couldn't just say, okay, do you know what? I want to work at KPMG
Hmm. And they'll train you for
because
3 months.
as an auditor, because you say, oh no, you have to go to school for this, right? You have to get certifications and
Hmm.
all that, and you need to like invest crazy amount of money to do that. So it's understandable if you are fresh off and I'd like to be an auditor at KPMG, and they're like, okay, we'll train you. But these days it's like, see, the knowledge is distributed. You don't need anything. All you need is your phone, time, and interest, and you'll be able to like learn a lot, right? So
Hmm.
I think it's a double-sided coin, right? Whichever way the coin faces, it is what it is, right? So
Man.
if you feel like you want to recruit people who do not have any um who are blank, right? They only have interest, they've not really done anything, that's fine. But if you also want to recruit someone who can do it. It's equally okay. But
Yeah.
I think what the base of everything is that look, knowledge is free these days, right? So personally, I would always just pick someone who has done a
Hmm.
bit of who has a
Yeah.
bit of experience, or based off on, oh, I'm interested in this stuff and I've gone to like read one or two things, or here this, I have designed this based off on what I saw. I'm reading this. Yeah, so I'm more interested in that, in those kind of people, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
So because I have experience in I say I have experience in- because I have experience hiring a lot of people, um
yeah,
I think I can I can speak from a company's point of view in this in this
Mm-hmm.
part in this particular topic, right? So if I'm a startup, I want to
Yeah.
build my products fast. I want to iterate fast. Um, listen to user feedback and then continue iterating and make money, be profitable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Personally, if I'm the CEO of a company, I would always go for the person that has a little bit of experience, because that person,
Yeah.
it's easier to train someone that already knows the basics, because the
Mm-hmm.
person because the person has context, right?
Yeah.
The only time I would train, or the only time I would want to hire someone that's completely fresh without any experience, or they've not done anything, even if it's like test projects or toy projects, they've not
Mm-hmm.
done anything. They are just interested. They are fascinated
Yeah.
about the particular tech field that they want to go into. The only time I would want to hire someone like that is if I am running a particular program within the company that
Yeah.
says, oh, I'm running this internship program and I want to give back to the community, to the tech community. That's the only time I
Mm-hmm.
would do that. But I need to be at a comfortable stage in my company. So
Exactly.
my company has to be making money, you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
like so my company has to be super comfortable at that point, because at that point you're
Mm-hmm.
spending money to train people.
People. Yeah.
And
People
this
that
is
might not
also
see.
people that might not stay. This is also something that a lot of people don't talk about, right? Because we worry about the people that want the jobs, but we don't worry about the people that are hiring for the jobs. And for you to be
Yeah.
empathetic, you need to think both ways. This person that wants to
Both
hire
ways.
me,
Exactly.
what value am I giving them, right? So if they spend 3 months training you, pouring knowledge into you, and
Mm-hmm.
the let's say the fifth month you get a better job and you leave, the company has lost, right? Because they didn't get any ROI for the work that they
Yeah.
did. And
Just got goodwill.
yeah,
Goodwill has arrived.
yeah, and it's a bit. I think people tend to frown upon when they give intense contracts. They're like, "Oh, we trained you for 3 months, so you have to stay with us for 2 years." People frown upon that. It's like nobody wants to, work for that company, right? But sometimes company have to do that to protect themselves, to protect their investments, because now the intern is that they trained from the
Mhm.
ground up is their investments, and they need to get some returns on it. So I
Yeah,
think
true.
looking at it from that way, you can now, you know, tend to see how companies would want someone that is experienced, even if it's just
Yeah,
a little, and then they bring the person into the team, and the person learns from, oh, this person, that person, and
yeah, and
they
builds up.
build up from there. So it's always
Yeah,
a better option for the company. So before we continue, let me ask you some quick fire questions, and then I'll ask you one more question and we would close.
all right.
So I'm going to ask you question, maybe like a this or that question.
Okay.
So are you an iPhone or an Android person?
Ah, why you do this to me?
just just
Man,
answer,
I,
just answer.
man, I am, dude, this is right now, by virtue of being married, I'm an iOS person. You see what I did there?
Yep. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So regularly you're an Android person, but now you switch to iOS because of marriage.
yeah, yeah. I
Wow.
mean, like, yeah.
Yeah, women really have power over
You,
you, guys.
you don't want to go there. You
Yeah,
don't want to go there. Nah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
next question. Light mode or dark mode?
Dark mode.
Nice. Okay? I know the answer to this one because we talked about it yesterday. Are you a morning or a night person?
Dude, I'm a morning person. Like, like once it's 12 o'clock, dude, 12 p.m. Anything you get from me, you get from me. The batteries are down by 12 noon. So yeah, I'm a morning person, and I go to
Nah.
bed really early. So yeah,
Okay. Are you a stay at home and chill or a going out person?
dude, I'm a stay at home, inside my home, inside my home, inside my home, inside my room person. Nah. I'm like the king of introverts. Like, I'm inside my
Nice.
house. I haven't been outside since Friday. I haven't gone outside my house.
Mad.
So that bad.
Okay, okay. So Marvel or DC?
Come on, man. DC not doing any Marvel. Like, and DC with that guys, man. Like, I'm DC straight up. I know I'm Marvel, right?
Yeah, I'm Marvel.
Ah, dude,
It's,
no, you have to go outside.
it's fine, it's fine. I like them both. I'm not a diehard, oh DC must die, you know,
No,
kind
I'm a
of person.
diehard. Not Marvel. Not no. I will no diehard DC fan. Yeah,
Who's your favorite superhero?
Batman.
I I saw that coming from a mile away.
Now, like if you're a diehard DC fan, then it has to be
Yeah,
Batman.
it has to be
And so
Batman.
we don't take slanders from no Batman slanders around here. I can pass you this mic and throw give yeah,
Okay,
Bruce Wayne all
yeah,
the way, man.
makes sense. Mine is Spider-Man, so Marvel. Yeah.
I think that's the only guy in Marvel that I don't have no beef with. Like, Spider-Man is cool. I wish the guy could actually come to DC verse, but I like him. Every other person there, nah.
Have you have you noticed that DC fans always have beef with Marvel heroes?
Yes, now I mean it's right from time,
Why is
right
that?
from time. But you DC guys don't like you Marvel guys don't like us too. So I mean, it's
Well,
fine.
you got me there. Okay, let's see. I'll just ask you one more question. I will close up.
Okay.
Um, okay. Yeah, I think you've talked through most of the questions I already have, but can you share any success stories? It could be yours, it could be anybody else, who
Mhm.
received a lot of job rejections and then turned it into career opportunities so that people listening can learn from their experience.
I think I'd basically use myself.
Okay.
Um, so before I got my current job, I was freelancing, and you know how freelance actually works, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
really not really stable. So I had I was never really interested in any role, right? I didn't really want to like work. Um, I didn't really want to like do a 9 to 5 for a while, right? I just wanted to do my own thing, and I was building my agency then. But it became clear that I needed to like get a role, especially since I was trying to like transition from brand design to products, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was very clear that I needed to like get a role. So I was applying, and I really wasn't getting anything. And I think my first major breakthrough, right, was when I had a conversation with my cousin, and he was like talking about the situation of the country and how it would be nice to like earn in FX, right? And I was like, you know what? I think it's something that I'd actually like to do. So there's this platform, everybody knows it, Upwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Upwork has a bittersweet relationship with Nigerians, right? Because the Nigerians who are there are basically killing it, right? And we have more Nigerians who have been big, who try to like get on the platform, and it's not been really easy for them. They don't get any job. You could basically go to Naira Land and look at it, and you see people just wallowing and saying, "Oh, Upwork is crazy. It's that." So I took that as the first challenge. I was like, "Do you know what? I'm going to sort of crack Upwork. I need to like get something off of Upwork." And just like what I said, right? Skimming through and reading through job descriptions and understanding the I don't could I say is the gold the phrase that's been underlined with the gold stroke, right? Like the main catch in the job JD, right? Once you understand that stuff, it's easy for you to speak to it. So I sort of went into Upwork and I started, really reading through posts and what the clients really need or needed, right? And at once I was able to like bag 3 clients at
Hmm.
once.
Hmm.
And that was the first, okay, this is some form of breakthrough for me, right? And that sustained me for a very long period, right? I was like, "Do you know what? I still want to do my switch fully into UX, right? And I started applying to, and I applied the same strategy, right? Sifting through jobs, looking at what was necessary, and applying for only where I knew my strengths,
Hmm.
you know, were very obvious, right? And I was able to like get my current role. And something else that we didn't really talk about, right, as a strategy is relationships, right?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most potent and strongest strategies you can actually deploy when looking for a job, right? My dad would always say something that whatever you are trying to achieve, right, a man knows somebody that knows somebody that has it. You just
Yeah.
have to look for that man that has it, right? So I think today I have a lot of relationships. Like I've been able to like build a lot of relationships that I have benefited from. You're my friend, right? If I could
Hmm.
reach out to you and say, "Well, if you're here, I need this stuff, right? Or I need this food, this person that has this," and you basically point me the right way. So I found out that also nursing relationships intentionally, not just from the point of view, not just cause you're trying to like get something off them, but because you are genuinely interested in nurturing that relationship, actually has benefited me in breaking through and getting roles, getting freelance gigs, meeting people, and just finding new opportunities every time. So I think I'll take building relationship above every other strategy, right? It's really important for life choices, jobs, whatever it is. You need to be able to like build long lasting relationships. So I don't know if I've been able to like speak to your question or
Yeah, definitely. You have.
getting a bit through, right? So yeah, myself as an example, yeah,
Okay, okay. Let me quickly go through. Let me quickly go through some action points that I noted down. Um,
okay,
I think the first thing I took was sometimes it's not your fault. The hiring pool is just too much, right? They might have missed your application. Have empathy on yourself. Applying for a full time job is a full time role,
yep,
and give yourself breaks and live your life outside of the job hunt. Another
exactly, really important.
another interesting note that I would like everyone to also imbibe is jog 5K every morning.
I
Very,
didn't
very
tell you to jump.
important.
I'm not saying go and jump 5K, but
Very
just I don't
important.
know, just something growing. It might be boxing, it might be taekwondo. I don't know, but just find somewhere to push all that energy towards. If you want to do 5K, that's fine. Enjoy yourself.
Okay. I was just uh, I was just messing with you. All right.
Yeah,
Narrow down your job search. Sometimes you need
mhm,
to remove yourself before the company removes you. Figure out if you
exactly.
can give value to the company before you apply so you don't waste your time. So
Mm,
apply with intentionality, basically.
mm,
Um, Understand that the company is not doing you a favor. You are bringing value, they are bringing value.
mhm.
It's like an handshake. That's why there's an offer and a contract in the first place.
Yeah.
um rely on mentorships, have conversations with people, build and nurture relationships. And
Super
like a
important.
yeah, like a wise man said, whatever you're trying to get, someone knows somebody that that has
And then
that
somebody,
thing.
you
Yeah.
just have to find that someone that somebody, right? And
Yeah.
also, just to throw light on something, I think some one very important strategy that we didn't talk about as regards on how to help you get that role is also when you are able to filter through all the jobs that are there and you've been able to highlight the ones that you shine the most, you go the extra mile. Now I'm going to give an example. My wife, for example, I talked about her. I said if she needs to get a job, she
Mm-hmm.
will get it right. And one of the things that she does is that first of all, she's going to narrow it down, right? The next thing, she's actually going to look for the golden line there. What do they need? And she's going to build a deck. First of all, she's in marketing, right? So she would write a proposal on how I'm going to help you. These are the results that I think you can get working with me and all that. And she's going to send it. So when you do that, right, first of all, you know how recruitment works. You get a lot of people. You're just looking for that one person that shines, that's just sort of
Mm.
aside everybody that has one extra stuff that a lot of people don't have. You have a handful of those, right? You that you recruit a lot, definitely you focus on those people that are outliners, right? That
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
you asked for four, they gave you five, right?
Yeah.
You'll be interested in who are these guys, right? So it helps you shine a lot, right? So you when you are able to narrow your search, your job search, and you see the roles that you shine through, you're now able to focus on them and really present yourself in the best way that makes you attractive, right? So that's one of the benefits of really streamlining and narrowing the job search.
All right. Makes sense. So, AJ, where can people reach out to you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn or Twitter. I really don't say much on Twitter. I just laugh and routine and just LOL. I think I'm probably that emoji guy. That those are the only things I do on Twitter. So you can reach me out on. You can reach out to me on Twitter. I think my handle is XA underscore AJAY.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, my full name, Okhaide Ajayi. Yeah, you can find me there.
All right. That's awesome. So, thank you so much for your time. This has been amazing. Um, to everyone listening, this episode is powered by Dula Studio. Dula Studio is a strategic partner for rapid growing companies in need of product guidance and scalable design systems. So you guys check it out. That's dula.studio. So AJ, thanks for coming to the show. This has been amazing. It's always
Thank you
nice.
for having me.
It's always nice talking to you, man.
Same thing here. I mean, the energy is always just, it's lovely, man. Love what you're
Yeah.
doing. I'm super, super proud, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right, this
All
episode has
right.
come to an end. Peace out.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
What's up? What's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good to see you again.
Yeah. So let me welcome the audience because you guys like my voice so much. This is the first time I'm actually saying the pulse of tech out loud. It has always been in my notes and like all my Notion documents.
The
But
boss of
anyway,
tech.
yeah, pulse, like the
Oh,
pulse. Yeah, the pulse of tech podcasts. Anyway,